This painting went missing for 23 years and has travelled a long and strange journey. Its creator, Gustav Klimt, was a renowned Austrian painter who worked around the turn of the 19th century. He is still popularly acclaimed for his vibrant works, which often abound in the use of gold leaf, and in their day was sometimes seen as controversially erotic. His portrait of a lady, painted between 1916 and 1917, has caused a buzz in the art world because it has featured at the centre of an astonishing 23-year-old mystery with its share of twists and turns. The small painting already carried a dark secret when it was purchased by the Ricciotti Gallery in the northern Italian city of Piacenza in 1925. Questions about the work's history arose in 1996 when an extremely astute art student observed an intriguing detail about the distinctive painting. Soon after this, the precious portrait disappeared from its position in the gallery. The art student, named Claudia Maga, had been flipping through a catalogue of the complete works of Gustav Klimt and studying his style. On finding his portrait of a lady, she realised that the artwork bore an eerie similarity to an earlier, long-lost painting by Klimt. Despite her relative inexperience in the art world at the age of 18 years, Maga approached the Ricciotti Gallery director Ferdinando Arisi, whose interest was piqued by her theory. Portrait of a Lady did strongly resemble an earlier work by Klimt entitled Portrait of a Young Lady, which had last been sighted in Dresden in 1912. As Maga pointed out to Arisi, the young lady had a scarf and a hat, but they both had in common the same glance over the left shoulder, the same smile, and the same beauty spot on the left cheek. Maga checked out her hunch by literally tracing the woman's features from the early painting and matching them with the later one. Arisi was persuaded by Maga's observation of the similarities between the two paintings and became intrigued by the theory that Klimt may have painted over the first work to create a new image. In fact, a study of the artist's biography seemed to support the possibility. The story had been told that Klimt had fallen in love with a young woman from Vienna who had quickly become his artistic muse. When she passed away suddenly, he painted over his original portrait of her in mourning, as he tried to forget her loss. Arisi and Maga decided that there was only one way to test this theory. They removed the painting from its frame and took it to a nearby hospital to x-ray the piece, hoping that it might reveal any secrets of the painting's history. Sure enough, an MRI scan revealed a mind-blowing image hiding beneath the surface. The evidence of trace marks showed that the portrait was concealing another painting beneath it, the only double portrait ever painted by Klimt. The downside of Maga's revelation was that Portrait of a Lady was no longer an obscure painting hanging forgotten in a corner of the gallery. The new public excitement seemed to add to its desirability, possibly inspiring its disappearance less than a year later, whilst preparations were being made for a special exhibition. On February the 22nd, 1997, the empty massive frame that had held the extremely rare portrait was found on the roof of the Ricciotti Gallery. Police investigators were perplexed as to how the painting had been stolen, as details were not making sense. The skylight in the gallery ceiling was slightly cracked, which pointed to the thief removing the priceless work of art via the skylight. But this theory was not substantiated by the fact that the actual frame itself did not fit through the opening, making it seem a diversionary ploy by the thief. Lacking any evidence or encouraging leads, the police were so stumped they even consulted a known art thief for advice in their inquiries, in the hope that he may know the perpetrator or even how the seemingly perfect theft had been pulled off. He was equally at a loss, and the investigation stalled. In 2013, authorities reopened the cold case after finding a partial fingerprint from the crime scene, which unfortunately tested without a result. The daunted police officers again had nowhere to go with the lack of evidence. until a surprising development came in 2016 when investigators again met up with the art thief that had consulted on the case nearly 20 years previously. He now admitted that he himself had stolen the artwork that February 1997. However, his really astonishing admission was that the painting he stole was in reality a fake. The now elderly thief declared that he had stolen the original portrait of a lady months before the reported theft with the assistance of a gallery worker and substituted in its place a faked copy. He had seemingly committed the perfect heist until hearing terrible news. This was that the gallery was planning to organise an event featuring Klimt experts. They would definitely notice the fake reproduction. The upshot was that the thief had stolen the fake portrait to protect his accomplice. He also made a bizarre statement to the police, claiming that the painting would be found during the following year, on the 20th anniversary of his disappearance. While the thief's prediction was out by a few years, the original painting was indeed discovered in the most unexpected place. 23 years after it went missing, a portrait of a lady was found inside the very building where it was lost. Gardeners had undertaken the clearing of overgrown ivy that, over a decade, had covered an exterior wall, when they noticed a metal panel over a recess in the brickwork. On opening up the cavity, they found the stolen painting hidden inside a black bag. How it had ended up in the wall's recess and how long it had been there remains a mystery. The portrait was verified as authentic and had been valued at around $66 million. It was still in surprisingly good condition considering how it had been stored, and we may never know the true story behind the intrepid painting's journey. The misadventure of Klimt's now famous portrait serves to highlight how a collaboration of art historians with scientists can lead to many new discoveries. For example, an examination of the paintings of Renaissance artist and inventor Leonardo da Vinci has revealed rethinks of his original drafting, and sometimes totally different compositions beneath his outer images. In 2015, a French scientist used reflective light technology to reveal a portrait of a different woman, concealed beneath the much revered classical portrait of Mona Lisa. The underlying image is believed to be Da Vinci's first draft of a renowned painting, and there is still so much mystery around Mona Lisa that study of the painting continues today by fascinated historians. Equally, his iconic painting, The Virgin on the Rocks, has an intriguing past and has been found to conceal yet another work by Da Vinci that remained hidden for so long. The painting is actually one of two, the first hanging in the Louvre in Paris and the second on show in the National Gallery in London. Da Vinci created the painting in the Louvre first and duplicated it due to popular demand. Despite it essentially being a copy of the first, the National Gallery's version is distinctive in that Da Vinci painted the fine work with his fingers rather than using a paintbrush. The other difference astonished researchers. Applying infrared and hyperspectral imaging on the painting showed up a concealed design beneath the paint that had dried more than 500 years before. The process revealed that there was a completely different composition predating the famous painting. Fortunately, the hidden sketch was made with a zinc substance, which allowed the special imaging technique to produce a clear outline of the previously unseen drawing. The angel Mary and the baby Jesus are depicted in totally different positions from in the completed work. A press release from the National Gallery described the dramatic differences, saying, "In the abandoned composition, both figures are positioned higher up, while the angel, facing out, is looking down on the infant Christ." Da Vinci's body of work comprises fewer than 20 pieces of art only, making this discovery even more momentous. In the academic world, the sketch provides an invaluable insight into the artist's composition, planning, and sketching process, offering new information about his creative vision. Perhaps an ultimate demonstration of art meets science is the working recreation of one of Da Vinci's mechanical models. Da Vinci developed technology for mechanical prototypes centuries ahead of their time. Around 500 years prior to the invention of the airplane, he drew up a design for a flying machine. Sketches from the inventor's later years contained a design for a mechanical lion, of which Da Vinci had reportedly built a couple of versions for King Francis I of France. The prototypes of the lion automatons stunned the royal court. Internal mechanisms enable the contraptions to walk and move their heads and tails. The staff at Da Vinci's former residence at Chateau Clos-Lucé, now a museum, decided to try and build a replica of the lion. They approached a French artist named Renato Boretto, who uses centuries-old technology to create quirky functional machines, in particular lifelike mechanical figures. Having only fragments of the original blueprint to go on, Boretto had to fill in the blanks by extrapolating ways to overcome design problems. These included balancing the dimensions of the iron creature with its potential weight of about 130 pounds, while leaving enough space for the intricate internal gears and pulleys. Unfortunately, Da Vinci's diagram for the motor inside the lion was lost forever. To make it walk, Boretto had to borrow from his own past inventions and Da Vinci's other machines, which included a night automaton. He worked over the course of many months, assembling his lion in the synthesis of art and engineering. Da Vinci had designed the automaton to be powered by the turn of a simple key, and to Boretto's surprise, it worked. They were only able to take about 10 steps in a row. It did not require any sort of track or additional power source. True to Da Vinci's notes, an additional feature was included. As the lion finishes its walk, a compartment in its side pops open, revealing a bouquet of lilies, France's national flower. The museum guessed that Da Vinci had included this as a gesture of thanks to his patrons in the French monarchy. Even now, this 16th century technology is mind-boggling and shows how science is helping us rediscover and learn from the past.